Giving me an up-close and personal view. Hello and welcome back to the JoAnne Powell Show. I am JoAnne. We're coming to you from the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM Hollywood. We are continuing our second hour of our 2-hour special on the JoAnne Powell Show. We've been talking politics, taking a look at President Trump's speech that he had before both branches of Congress, and also to the American people. People are saying that he looked very presidential. He did stick to the teleprompter, which was a contributing factor to that. And there's a lot of things that are a lot of buzz, a lot of talk. People are happy with what they saw, and I think Trump is kind of basking in some good news for a change on his performance and what's been going on. Some of the things that Trump was calling for, he's calling for increasing military spending, also taking a tougher stand on immigration as it relates to homeland security and national security. And he also is reworking Obamacare. A memorable an emotional moment last night is when he introduced the widow of a Navy SEAL who was killed in a recent event that he was involved with. Take a look and listen.
We are blessed to be joined tonight by Corinne Owens, the widow of U.S. Navy Special Operator, Senior Chief William Ryan Owens. Ryan died as he lived, a warrior and a hero, battling against terrorism and securing our nation. Ryan was a part of a highly successful raid that generated large amounts of vital intelligence that will lead to many more victories in the future against our enemy. Ryan's legacy is etched into eternity. Thank you. Thank you.
And joining me now to talk about Trump's address is Preston Foster. He is an associate professor and director of public policy program at Oakwood University. I'd like to welcome you back to our show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me again, JoAnne. It's always good to be with you.
Well, definitely one of the moments from last night that a lot of people are talking about is when the widow of Ryan was introduced. He was a Navy SEAL involved in an event. He was killed in the line of duty, and his wife was there, and he acknowledged her. It was a real memorable, very emotional moment. But as someone my father is a retired colonel in the Army, it was a little uncomfortable for me because I know her grief that she was feeling, and she was trying to hold it together. I understand why she was there, but it felt a little bit like she was being exploited for politics, and it is politics, so that does happen. But I just felt for her because it was very emotional for her to stand there and then to kind of be to push it, I think, a little beyond the boundary of comfort for me as someone who comes from a family of a military background. What are your thoughts about that particular moment?
Well, it was a touching and tender and awkward moment, to be honest, because Mrs. Owens is a fresh widow. Lost her husband in a raid in Yemen. But it was difficult to watch that without thinking about, as you said, why is she there? And frankly, she was there not just because, and I say just, not minimizing her loss at all, she's a widow, but also she was widowed in the first raid that was approved under the Trump administration in Yemen. And the raid was framed by many as a failure. And President Trump took great pains last night to say that General Mattis, who works for him, said that the raid, in fact, wasn't a failure, that there was all types of intelligence gathered, but immediately after the raid, the president kind of distanced himself from the decision and from the perception that the raid was a failure. And so last night was, in part, a reset of the framing of that raid, and it led you to wonder, why is the president so comfortable in using this politically?
Yeah, and then also just, he basically was not taking responsibility. When you're commander-in-chief, you're over the military, and that's a part of what the role that you have as being the commander-in-chief. If there's something that goes wrong and there are lives lost, you have to accept responsibility for that, which is something that he has not done. And basically throwing his generals kind of under the bus, if you would, regarding that. So it was kind of an interesting twist to the evening. Anyway, I just it was interesting what you thought about that. Anything else that stands out to you in his speech?
Well, again, it was, his manner was reassuring for those of us who thought that he couldn't pull off something so core to our governance. But I also was interested in his talking at the end, the way he closed. He talked about America, dreaming big and thinking big, and kind of going to that part of America that makes people Americans, just ambition, etc. Having earlier talked about the so-called mess that he inherited, and how he wants to get America going again. And this is by means of not the most robust recovery, but 4.8% unemployment. A stock market that he inherited at almost at 20,000, that's still going through the roof now, is hardly a mess. I think the thing for all of us to keep our eyes on, regardless of our politics, is where the deficit is now and where the debt is now. Because traditionally, or at least historically, in the last 40 years, the only time the deficit has come down has been under Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. And Republicans, when they come in, although they claim to be fiscally responsible, tend to cut taxes and explode the deficit. So it'll be curious to see that, will this recovery that we have, including the infrastructure build and the defense build-up, will that be a recovery that's born out of, fueled out of growth, or is it one that's fueled out of debt? When you go out and blow out your American Express card, you can look good for a few months, but if you can't pay that bill, it goes dark real quick.
Well, we'll have to definitely keep our eye on what's going on that. I'd like to thank you so much, Preston Foster, for joining us. We'll have to have you back. You are watching the JoAnne Powell Show.
If you are an adult that began college and has not finished your college degree, let me put it to you straight. If your lifestyle and your standard of living is not becoming to you, then you should be coming to us, Oakwood University Elite Program. We are the fast, flexible adult degree completion program for the busy adult, like you.
Register today. Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098. It's time to leap.
For years, people have trusted McKay's Family Mortuary. We're part of your community and we'll take care of the details. We offer a variety of memorial services, including sea scattering and cremation. According to the Federal Trade Commission, the average funeral cost is over $9,000. We have complete funeral chapel service starting at only $31.25, casket included. Direct cremation starting at only $9.95. Visit one of our 5 locations and meet our caring and diverse staff. McKay Family Mortuary. Let us be the shoulder to lean on.
Thanks to Oakwood University and the LEAP program, I have now a college degree. So to the Spanish-speaking members of this community who feel that the LEAP program is something you should consider, I would say ánimo a la universidad, considere el programa LEAP de Oakwood University.
Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098.
Seize the Day Scuba for your best scuba experience above and below the sea. You'll find friendly staff, experienced PADI certified instructors, and state-of-the-art scuba equipment and gear. Join our dive club and we'll help you plan memorable scuba excursions. Immerse yourself. Seize the Day Scuba, serving Southern California. Call 949-220-0500 to create your scuba experience.
When I first started into the program, yes, I had doubts. I was really impressed with Oakwood University, with the faculty and the staff and the student body. It was a really good experience, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who was thinking about going back and finishing their degree.
Register today. Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098.